Welcome to my life as an NPC. I am Carbon Scythe, and today we're going to continue to play The Ladder. Yesterday when I was recording this, I did not expect it to be this scary, so goddamn fast. I am so scared to see what's going on in the future of this game, but I am so intrigued. I want to see more, and if you want to see more, please do watch this episode and the ones coming up after this as well. But now we have already had our first encounter with a ghost, so to speak, and I had to I could barely hold on to my stuff here. But anyway, I don't even know how to say the things that happened. But let's get into it, okay? Okay, the door finally swings open and I couldn't have been happier. Wasting no time, I leap out of the door and don't look back. My feet pound against the floor in rhythm with the loud, fast beating of my heart. By the time I run past the hallway, I find myself atop the grand staircase. My chest feels so tight like it's going to burst. I just need to lower the volume a bit. But that's nothing compared to the feeling of hope the sight of the exit gives me. Racing down the stairs, a breathe a heavily laugh escapes me and my shoe slips and I find myself falling. Until my back hits the ground and pain racks my body. Oh, fuck you! Fuck you! My head grows fuzzy and my vision dims as I fight to stay conscious.
No. Go away.
Okay, new update. The last thing I see are those feet before all I know is darkness. 21st of October. While looking for a missing co-agent, Isabella Santos found a mysterious letter in the Ermengarde mansion attic. Driven to fear by what she read inside, thinking it's the place's curse at work, she hurried to leave the place, only to meet... Oh no. Oh, we got a new profile here. Ooh. Didn't even see this. It's been 5 years since she met her neighbor, Rebecca. She met Ashton there during an unfortunate incident involving her first sale at Devlin Court and later Zachary through him. Nothing important. Before all I know is darkness. Anything else? There we go. A buzz breaks the silence. I start to rouse, pulled into consciousness against my will. I've never felt this tired before. I just want to sleep, but the insistent buzzing, poking and prodding isn't letting me. My old mattress may not be the comfiest of places, but that doesn't make me any more eager to wake up.
5 more minutes, Becca.
I swat away as what is nudging persistently at my side. Come on. Can't I just get a few extra minutes of sleep today? I promise I'll work hard once I'm up. A hand lightly taps my cheek, and something cold is suddenly being pressed at the back of my head. The icy sensation slowly spreads throughout the area, giving me an uncomfortable feeling.
Isabella? Yes, can you hear me? Isabella?
The fog let's see. Okay, just update of where we are. The fog immediately lifts from my mind at the moment I recognize the voice and my eyes snap open. There, looking down at me, is Rose. Another woman loiters beside her, but my attention is too focused on my co-agent to even ask whether there's someone else with her. Rose's posture just screams worry, although she's keeping a straight face. Or trying, at least. I can't help but feel bad for making her fret. A wave of dizziness washes over me as soon as I try to get up, forcing me to lie back down again. Luckily, the feeling subsides after a few seconds, until only a mouth throbbing somewhere at the back of my head remains. With a little assistance from Rose, I push myself upright. She hands me an ice pack and gestures for me to press it where I suspect a small bump has already formed. If the light ache in the area indicates anything.
Alright, Isabella, where are we?
Okay, she's checking, so I'm not, doesn't have a concussion.
The Ermengarde mansion. Why?
Concussion? Concussion, that's the word.
Ow, my head.
And the date today?
October 21st? Rose.
Last one. Can you count to 15 in reverse order?
Ugh, that's a hard one, even, actually.
15, 14, 13, 12, no, that's wrong. Why are we doing this?
12.
She's just checked if your injury is in any way serious.
This time, I curiously regard the woman standing beside Rose. It's impossible to overlook her, what with the way she towers over us. In here I thought Rose is already tall. Who is she anyway? One of the remaining cleaning crews? But with how primly dressed she is, I don't think anyone would want to clean in a suit. An expensive suit at that. The gloves alone must have already cost a fortune. Her eyes slowly shift between me and Rose, considering us with an almost unreadable expression, before finally fixing a sharp gaze on me. I can't help but fold my arms protectively over myself as she does so. She may be far from a cleaning crew, but she certainly looks like a supervisor during evaluation.
Just do it, please.
I eye them both warily, but recite everything as she has asked. Rose releases a breath of relief once I'm done.
You scared me for a moment there. I was about to call for an ambulance. Are you alright?
Exasperation soon replaces the dull ache. The memory's a little fuzzy, but the attic...
There was someone, Rose. In the attic.
Someone? You mean a client? Oh, that's unlikely. It's probably just one of the cleaning crews.
Oh, she was not cleaning crew.
The boss sent a few of them back this morning for some last minute...
No, not any of those. They're, I'm not actually sure. Wait, didn't I call you? You said you were in the attic when you answered. That's why I went there in the first place.
Both Rose and the lady look at me like I've just grown another head. Did I say something weird? Rose quickly casts an apologetic smile at the woman before the awkward silence stretches on further. It's her saleswoman smile, the same one she taught me back when I was still her trainee. I should show this to troublesome clients or just avoid trouble in general, she advised. It's also the same one she gives me when I've done something particularly absurd that may cause us to lose a potential sale. Oh. Her eyes are serious when she turns back to me. She takes both of my shoulders, gently squeezes it, and with as much patience she can muster...
As much as I'd love to have gotten at least a heads up of your arrival, I didn't really get a call from you. You know, signal here is absolutely horrendous. I was in the garden earlier and couldn't even make a single call. Isabella, I'm going to ask again. Are you really alright? What happened?
I don't know. It's all a bit blurry. I remember I was looking for you, but you weren't in the attic. And there's... whoever it is. Then I must have tripped on a rug or something on the way down. Oh no. Do you think someone came in while you were out? You left the main door open. We are so going to get into big trouble if something gets stolen, Rose.
Perhaps it is a concussion.
Gee, thanks.
Are you sure you feel fine? We could still call for an ambulance. I could cover for you.
No, I'm fine. I'm okay, Rose. I can work.
Wait. Hold your horses, Rose. I can't just miss an important sale because of a minor bump in the head. An extremely minor bump. I've had worse when I was a kid. This is nothing.
Besides, if I leave, you'll have to shoulder everything in the open house, alone. And in a mansion this big?
Well, there's also the part where I lose that bonus BRC promise, but that's completely beside the point. Rose gives me a skeptical look when I return the cold compress to her and push myself off the floor. I have to use the staircase railings to steady myself, but otherwise, I feel fine.
See? I'm A-okay.
The two of them exchange a worried glance and Rose assumes a contemplative look. I bite my lower lip in anticipation. If she says no...
Alright, you in.
A smile threatens to slip out from me.
If I see that you aren't feeling well, I'm taking you personally to the nearest clinic to have you checked. Clear?
Clear as day, ma'am. Thanks, Rose.
You insisted. But remember what I said. First sign of you looking not okay, and we're off. No questions asked.
It's just a small bump. Don't worry.
You shouldn't downplay these kinds of things. It could be a serious injury for all we know.
Suddenly a small cough sounds against the wall of the foyer, interrupting our banter. The woman is looking expectantly at the two of us, her stare making me shrink back a little on myself. She isn't really intimidating. Well, she is. But not in a scary, negative way. Far from it, actually. Her demeanor simply commands an air of sophistication and respect. In a different world, a younger me would have probably wished to be like her. At a lack of response, she coughs again, lifting a well-trimmed eyebrow at me in question. Words get caught in my throat at the sight of it, and Rose, as usual, is swift to catch my blunder.
My sincerest apologies, Mrs.
Miss McCulloch. Marianne McCulloch.
McCulloch! What is that? Scottish? Welsh? German? No, not German, I don't think. Marianne McCulloch. Trally Rose Designs. Interior designer McCulloch at xmail.com. Plus 44. That's Great Britain, I believe. We have plus 46 here in Sweden. She hands Rose a business card. The words interior designer catches my eye before my partner flips it over. Oh, probably someone interested in the mansion for its 17th century influences then. I won't hold against her though. Despite the hearsays and remaining uninhabited for years, the mansion's original fittings and furniture have been kept completely intact and restored to pristine condition. I suppose some people find that trip to the past feeling appealing. After all, with what it offers, this place could also be a haven for people looking to live somewhere with a classic historical charm.
Miss McCullough, I'm Rose Cooper, and this is my partner, Isabella Santos. We're just ironing out a few things, but we'll be starting the tour soon enough.
You're gonna
In
die.
the meantime, we've prepared some refreshments for you in the parlor while you're waiting. If you could please...
Thanks. There's no need for it, though. I just dropped by for a quick survey of the place. I thought I should check the estate before I meet with the homeowners.
Rose's confusion is impossible to miss when she glances at me, and I return it with an equally perplexed look. And, against my better judgment, I blurt out the first question that comes to mind.
I'm sorry. Homeowners?
I should have kept my mouth shut. A flash of irritation crosses her face, but it instantly disappears on a mask of professional detachment.
Yes. Hannah right? She hired me to handle the interior design for their new home.
Newly bought home.
This is the Ermengarde mansion, right?
Yes.
It is, but...
She pauses, possibly trying to find the right words to fix the awkward situation without offending someone. Suddenly, Rose nudges me with her elbow. We'll check with our supervisor. We don't say I don't know. Here's the first thing in whenever you work with people. Don't say I don't know. Or you can say that, but only if you continue it with, but I will check it out right now. Just wait here a few moments. But that is not what we can see here, so we'll check with our supervisor. Woo! How did that update? Marianne, +1. Oh, plus something. Those few moments had given me enough time to clear my head of any nervousness or confusion clouding it.
It is, ma'am, but we weren't aware the mansion has already been sold.
What do you mean?
I almost flinch when she turns her gaze on me, but I stand my ground. Besides, it isn't like I haven't dealt with awkward situations like this before. I may screw up at times, but that doesn't mean I haven't learned a thing or two in the 5 years I worked in the business.
The mansion is indeed for sale, ma'am. Today's the open house, in fact. However, we haven't heard anything from the higher-ups that a deal has already been closed for this particular property. If you'd like, my co-agent and me can check with them right now.
She nods, seemingly in deep thought after I've finished. She appears to be a reasonable person anyway. Given a proper explanation, she'd surely understand.
I thought something looked odd. Excuse me, I need to call my secretary.
What? I don't understand why some of the lines are completely different from what they're saying. I would assume... I'm assuming that this is a Japanese game from the beginning. And I would also assume that the translation would be first to make sure that everything is ironed out. And then you give the transcript to the voice actors. So I don't understand why the spoken word is different from the written word. Maybe I'm too harsh, but it does throw me off every time. Every single time.
Thank you for your assistance, Miss Santos.
With a slight wave of her hand, she leaves us. That seems to be the end of it. Both Rose and I breathe a sigh of relief. Disaster averted. I also don't miss the thumbs up she gives me for doing a good job, and I can't help but swell with pride. Still, I've already prepared myself to dial the number to our Luxburn office and check, even if she didn't ask for it. I would be very frustrated if, for some reason, something has already been decided without my or Rosa's knowledge. That's a whole new level of unfair. We've been working hard on this. Moments later, Miss McCullough returns, looking a little frustrated with an apology clear in her face. I feel a little sorry for her having to go through all this trouble.
There seems to have been a little misunderstanding with my client. If you'll allow it, I'd like to stay and wait for them here.
Okay, sure, I think.
I was informed they'll be dropping by for the open house today. I figured it'd be a waste to just leave after that long drive. I might as well meet him here.
Certainly. You could stay at the parlor in the meantime, ma'am. I'm sure it won't be long before our guests arrive. And, Isabella? I left a few documents in my car. You know where I keep those.
I would assume the glove department.
Can you please get it for me?
Rose takes a glance at her wristwatch before tossing me a set of keys.
And hurry! We've still got a few minutes to double check those papers.
Okay, got it.
Journal update. The two of them disappear behind the parlor's door. Timeline. New. Here we go. There we go. Next. There we go. Rose Cooper, along with a woman who introduced herself as Marianne McCullough, found Isabella Santos lying unconscious in the mansion's foyer before the open house starts. Unable to recall what happened prior, Isabella insisted on working, despite her co-agent's worries about her well-being. Thank you. The departure brings with it a stillness to keep me company, neither welcoming nor comforting. Alone, like this, it is impossible not to think of what really happened. I wish the memory isn't as elusive as it normally is. Then again, Rose already said she didn't receive any call from me. Was it just paranoia? A temporary lapse after having heard all of those tales about this place? Probably. I want to think of it as such. Better to think of it as such so I can work better, so I can work in peace. Except a small part of my mind begs to differ. And if I'm going to be completely honest with myself, I want nothing more than to leave this place as soon as possible. I don't know what's in this house, and I don't want to know. The keys Rose have just handed me dig into my palm. its jagged edges creating shallow ridges on my skin from how hard I'm clutching it. It's a reminder of what I still need to do and why I've taken this job in the first place. Hugging my blazer closer to my body, I exit the house to get to what Rose has asked of me. Just a few more hours, Isabella. Sell the house, get the money. Oh, fuck you. That's a proper curse, alright. A flock of people have already gathered in the mansion's front yard by the time we officially open the doors. I'm not sure whether I should feel baffled or underdressed standing in their presence. Men and women of wealth and status, all dressed to the nines, in fancy suits and lovely dresses of varying colors, compose a medium-sized crowd. Their necks, arms and fingers are adorned with silver and gold, glinting in the afternoon sun. Some even have a ridiculously fancy feathered hats on their heads. I really hope there aren't any magpies living nearby like in the stories. Those birds will have a field day in this. They are murmuring among themselves, looking at the estate's facade appraisingly, with some arguing about whose mansion has the superior architecture. But most of it stops as Rose calls for their attention. They don't look too pleased at being ordered around, but what can they do about it?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rose Cooper, and this is my partner, Isabella Santos.
Yo!
We'll be taking a tour of the mansion in 2 groups. Please make sure you filled up our sign-in forms before joining a specific group.
Those who want to look around the first floor, please follow my partner. I'll be guiding the ones who wish to see the ground floor.
Hearing this, a few wonder to me. They are mostly old ladies who seem daunted at the idea of climbing all those stairs. Miss McCullough also joined our group, but what really catches my eye is the elegantly dressed pair she approaches.
It's so nice to finally meet you! When Chief Inspector Lee mentioned that a famous interior designer is in town, I knew I had to get you!
Your confidence in my skills is very flattering, ma'am.
I'm sure you won't disappoint, Marianne.
Oh, you know each other?
Not at all, ma'am.
You mentioned something about a Marianne on our way here, darling?
Oh, yes, I think I did.
Yeah, they must be the clients she was talking about. I might have seen their faces somewhere before. Some magazine? Or the television? I can't quite remember. But then again, most of our guests have likely ended up on the news, one way or another. I won't be surprised if these two already have. For people who are popular though, they aren't dressed as loudly as the others, and in their simplicity, the couple stands out. The woman, in particular, is stunning enough to turn the heads of most people in my group, especially the men with wandering eyes. The guy standing beside her doesn't seem to mind though. And if I'm going to be a bit bolder with my assumptions, I'd say he's basking in the attention. Both of them, in fact. I think they are brother and sister if it wasn't for their public display of affection. The matching rings on their fingers just cement the fact that they are, indeed, a couple. Whatever. Couple or not, what's important is that we get this deal closed before the current owners can even think of cancelling the listing. I just hope one of the people in my or Rose's group is brave and generous enough to buy this mansion. And so, with papers in hand, I lead the way. Journal update, okay. When they aren't whispering among themselves or going ooh and ah over one thing or another, they ask questions. Well, let's check the journal first. Today marked the open house of the infamous Ermengarde mansion, opened to the public for the first time in years. Luxburne's most esteemed and prominent personalities gathered to catch a glimpse of 17th century property, including Luxburne's most well-known couple, Luke and Hannah Wright. From how the restoration process went to the history of the place, I answered them all. More than happy to talk about the art pieces and architecture mostly. However, I'm careful not to mention anything about the urban legend. Not a good material for sales talk, even if the entire population of Luxburne knows about it.
Some of the furnishings here are actually the 17th century originals. all of which have undergone a painstaking restoration process just to return its original beauty.
Even the glass thing. Colorful ones. Oh, I don't know, but you get the idea.
So she's supposed to be the airhead, I guess. What is it called though? I don't remember. But someone of her status would know that, I believe. Should know.
Especially that one, ma'am. It is said to be a gift commissioned by the fiancé of Lady Charlotte Ermengarde. The mansion's current owners have specifically requested that the restoration crew take great care in handling it. It's a priceless work of art and the most distinctive feature of the mansion.
By the time I stop talking, her attention is already elsewhere.
Isn't this place wonderful, darling? I told you it's not a total waste of your time.
I don't know. Isn't it a bit too small? We might have to break a wall down to have more room.
Unacceptable!
Well, I think it is just right. Don't you think so, Marianne?
It is splendid, ma'am.
Okay. They said Marianne in different ways. I wonder if they are actually don't know how to say her name, or if the translator forgot how to spell it.
But isn't it a little too early to make plans when no deal has been signed yet?
Never mind that. It isn't going to be a problem. We've got a wonderful legal team to handle everything. Start taking notes, though. I think I've got a few things I want changed before we move
Actually, I
in.
had to double check that. No, wrong one. Relationship. Yeah, so the lovely lady said Mary Ann, not Marianne. Marianne. The rest of the conversation gets lost in the shadow of our companions. I don't want to make any assumptions yet, but the sheer interest is enough to give me some semblance of hope. Oh, please, please, please let these guys be the one. Eventually, our group reaches the kitchen. Much like the rest of the house, a great deal of effort has been put in the retaining the room's classical appeal. The open hearth. I don't know what a hearth is. I've heard that word a few times. What is a hearth? I need to know. Does not. Fireplace. I see. The open hearth at the end of the room in particular looks amazing, like the ones I've only seen in fairy tale books. And mad props to the cleaning crew. Seriously, after overhearing hundreds of their complaints about the soot and the tar staining the bricks, and how much of a pain in the arse cleaning this will be, they still managed to pull this off. Or make it look presentable at least.
The highlight of the room, however, is what's underneath this hatch here.
Oh, don't say anything yet. An underground wine cellar.
This is the first time the guy in grey speaks up. Mr. Luke Wright, my memory supplies from the forms they signed earlier. His sudden attentiveness catches me off guard. Since the start of the tour, only his wife has shown any form of genuine interest in the place. But this time, something lights up in his eyes at the mention of the undercroft. What's so interesting about a basement? I really don't understand rich people sometimes. I would prefer to have cheese down there, not wine. But I don't drink alcohol, so what do I know? Right now, he just gives me the impression of a child who has seen what he absolutely wants for Christmas. I always find it cute whenever I see children act that way, my younger siblings especially. On a grown man, it's almost funny.
Yes, sir. It could house around 7,000 to 11,000 bottles of wine.
Ooh.
Truly. And the room, how was it built?
The bricks that were used to build the cellar have been carefully picked for the purpose of maintaining and preserving a constant temperature and humidity in the room. It's a good place to keep your private collection in if you have one, sir.
It keeps the corks in good condition.
Right. Because you need to have really seal the bottle in order to preserve the wine, make it not age or whatever it is. but if the cork is not... If you put air into it and then shut it down again, you will essentially destroy the wine. It is a fresh produce, so it will go very sour quite quickly. And so if the cork is not in good condition, it will let air in and maybe even flavor the wine, I assume. Cool.
Oh, love. Didn't you say before that you wanted to make your own personal vineyard? Perhaps you could start one here.
You know we're going to need space for that, darling.
And this isn't big enough?
If it's space you're worried about, sir, the Ermengarde mansion sits on a 46-acre lot. There's plenty of room for it. We were told that the original owners had a horse stable built here before, too.
Yeah. There's a contemplative expression on Mr. Wright's face, but it doesn't say anything further. His wife, however, seems really pleased that he has started to show interest, if only a little. I smile to myself. I may not completely understand how these people's minds work, but I sure as hell know how to spot a buyer with sincere interest. Score. I can't wait to tell Rose. The rest of our tour goes by without a hitch. After more than half an hour, we're able to cover almost every room in the ground floor and are heading to the parlor. Funny. The first time BRC had a survey this property, I kept complaining to Rose how big it is. Now, I can't even bring myself to care, no matter how much my feet hurt. Maybe this is just my excitement over a possible sale. What the fuck is that sound? When we reach the parlor, however, an odd feeling washes over me. It started off as a small goosebumps on my skin, a feeling of being watched intently. Whispers in my ear and shadows dancing, lurking in the corner of my vision. Dark silhouettes that are gone when I turn to look. A chill settles down my spine, making me feel sick, and I start to break out in a cold sweat. I can't do this. I need to sit down for a moment. The old ladies in the group have been requesting for a break anyway. If I can just...
Excuse me, everyone? We will be taking a 15-minute rest here before we visit the first floor. In the meantime, please help yourselves to the refreshments and snacks we prepared. If anyone has any questions, feel free to approach me. I'd be happy to help you.
I let them sit while I retreat to a quiet corner to recover. It's not what you think. Don't think about it. It's not what you think. I probably just caught Becca's cold. Don't think about it. I'm left alone for a good while, the same words spilling out of my lips in a silent prayer. Until a hand taps my shoulder.
Hello, you there?
Yes, ma'am?
Oh, look at you. Having to show a group around a mansion this big must be exhausting.
Oh, yeah.
Not a problem, ma'am. I'm just doing my job.
What a hard worker. Anyway, Isabel, right?
Isabella.
Isabella, actually. But yes, what can I help you with, ma'am, right?
Please, just Hana. Call me Hana.
Hana. I mean, in Swedish we would say Hanna. Hana.
I just wanted to ask, how soon are we able to move in?
My brain completely stops. The sick feeling plaguing me is suddenly gone, replaced with utter bewilderment. Is this a joke? She looks at me expectantly as I struggle to come up with an answer.
Wait, ma'am, you see... But we haven't even negotiated a price yet, ma'am. We haven't even finished touring the rest of the mansion. A sale would be great and all, but...
She stops me from speaking any further and puts a hand on my shoulder. For a moment, with a tight smile, she looks as she's tasted a particularly sour lemon.
Oh, please, sweetie, don't insult me. Money is not a problem.
Kinda hate those kind of people, don't you?
And, just between you and me, this place is better off with us than with some old lady who will probably just fill it up with cats.
I personally don't think there's anything wrong with having cats here, ma'am Hana. I'm sure there's more than enough space here if you want pets.
Perhaps I'm still not feeling well, but really, what's wrong with cats? More importantly, why is she talking about moving in already?
Well, I'm more of a dog person. But you see, this is going to be a gift to my darling. It's going to be our anniversary soon.
You do not gift a 17th century house to someone. Mansion even.
And it would be so wonderful if you can secure its purchase for us. Why, I can even offer something extra if you help us out with the paperwork.
Oh?
We actually have a process for this, ma'am. I don't really think that would be necessary or appropriate.
And just what are you two lovely ladies talking about here? Leaving me and our lovely interior designer to talk here by ourselves.
Hello, Luke.
What would the people think, darling?
Oh, it's just small talk, love. I was asking if she could help me with the paperwork.
I try not to wince when her nails dig into my shoulder. Bitch! The story updated, that's different. I can't help but send an imploring look at Miss McCullough, who only gives me an apologetic smile and a shrug. Story updated, what does that mean? Is that we went on a different timeline? Different path?
Yeah. I can give you a fact sheet and a form to fill out.
She wastes no time in taking the papers from my hand and shuffles through the bunch. Oh man. Rose is going to be so angry at me for letting her do that.
Wonderful. And Marianne,
yeah.
I'd really love to talk to you about those changes. You took some notes earlier, yes?
I did, Mom. But I really hope that this time...
Excellent. Hopefully you can help us out too, Isabel.
Wow! This lady is just so... she does not care at all. It's her way or the highway.
Isabella.
Right. It's a lovely name, Isabel.
It's Isabella.
Yes, that's great. We'll be more than happy to put in a good word to your superiors too, and... what's this?
D-list horror prop. Oh? A look of confusion and disgust appears on her face. Oh no! Turning to her husband, he merely shrugs in reply.
That's, an interesting work of art. Not to my taste, though. I'm sorry.
Help me.
Darling, Buttercup, art is a complete overstatement for this garbage. It looks like a cheap prop from a D-list horror film.
Shush, love. Let the girl do what she pleases with, what do they call this? Oh, forget about it. At the very least, it's not as dreadful as the one art exhibit I was forced to attend last month.
Wow!
You should have seen it, Marianne. Even you would have been appalled. But I'm sure you'll know what to do with our walls once we get started.
I highly doubt it is as bad as you say, Ma'am. Nevertheless, you can be assured that my team will only pick whatever suits your tastes. Nothing of this chain letter sort, of course. It has to always work with a palette.
I'm quite sure chain letters these days don't come in this form.
Yeah, it's true. It's my turn to be puzzled. What do they mean? Rose and I double-checked everything. Are the papers I handed not enough? I want to ask what I did wrong. I don't want to mess this up. But with the way Ma'am Hana's leading the conversation, I'm afraid that's exactly what will happen if I do interrupt her.
That's good to hear. See, darling, isn't she an absolute delight to work with? I can't wait to see how this place will look when she's done with it.
Oh, you don't have to tell me that, Buttercup.
People who are rich and use that as a weapon. Ooh, you suck. You suck so much. Not as a weapon, but as a suit. Look at me. This is what I am. I am rich. Screw the rest of you. Nobody likes those kind of people. A smile is back on her face when she turns to me and hands me a strange piece of paper.
I would still put it away if I were you, though. Otherwise, people might get the wrong impression. impression. Anyway, as I was saying...
I don't hear the rest of what she has, or what she says after that. I can only stare down at the paper, at the letter, in my hands. The sighs crinkle in my grip and my breathing grows labored. Dread quickly fills my mind.
Isabella? Isabella? Are you alright? You're looking pale.
I didn't even notice when Rose's group joined us in the parlor. I want nothing more than to say that no, I'm not alright. I want to leave this place. Because I remember everything as clear as day. Okay, so she actually did forget it. Okay. Story updated. The letter and that woman in the attic. It's real.
The letter. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
She looks like a frightened cat here. Angry frightened cat. That is horrifying. Careless. I've been so careless. How do I even tell them without looking like I've gone mad? Should I even tell them? We need to let Rose know. And how did that fix things? Marianne went negative. That's interesting. Not Rose. Rose is not even here, actually. Rose is not important. The fact that... Okay, so the fact that we showed Rose that we found something that does not belong here means that we are not prepared, which weighs against Marianne's relationship to us. Interesting. I blurted out before I could think twice about what I'm going to say.
Rose, we need to get out of here. This place is cursed.
I did not expect you to say that. Rose cast a nervous glance at the people in the room. Most are still engaged in a conversation with their peers, but those curious enough to turn their heads in our group directions have been given her trademark saleswoman smile. A tired expression is on her face when she pulls me aside.
Isabella, we've already had a conversation about this weeks ago. Those are just stories.
And I'm telling you that it's not. I saw something in there. It's not human at all. I thought it was just nothing, but isn't this letter proof enough?
Unfortunately, it's not proof of anything. She gently reaches out to pluck the paper off my hand. Oh, please no. Without even taking a glance at it, she folds it back neatly.
Look, I'm really getting worried about you. I know you want to see this open house through, but your condition is more important.
Oh, right. She thinks I have a concussion now. I thought she was going to look at the paper and it was supposed to be completely blank or something.
Give me a few minutes to wrap things up here and I'll drive you to the nearest hospital.
No! You don't understand! There isn't a condition, Rose. No concussion at all. I'm fine. But this place isn't, and you're being stubborn about it.
Oh. Before Rose could open her mouth for a retort, a hand lands on both her shoulders, pulling the two of us a distance closer.
Now, ladies, what seems to be the problem here?
Ew, fuck off! You have nothing in here. You got nothing to do here. Bugger off, boy.
Nothing, sir. I just had to clarify a few things with my colleague.
Well, it certainly seems intense. A smile fits the two of you better, in my opinion. Especially darling little Lily here.
Who the fuck is Lily? Is Isabel Lily? He gives my shoulder a gentle squeeze, while an inscrutable smile spreads across his face.
It's Isabella, sir.
Of course. But my point still stands. And with two beautiful ladies here, I'm sure.
And I'm sure little Lily here would certainly appreciate it if you remove your pretty hands from her, darling.
We're not a perfect relationship here. Nuh-uh. The pressure on my shoulder lifts as soon as those words leave his wife's lips, while the scowl on her face is like a splash of cold water on me. It is also impossible to miss the displeased frown on Miss McCullough's face. The realization that we might lose this sale because of my outburst instantly dawns on me. Rose would be beyond pissed.
I think I need to step out for a while. I'll be back.
Bowing my head, I mutter a quick apology and gather my stuff to make a quick exit. It doesn't matter if this place is haunted or not. I cause trouble and Rose can be quite unforgiving of behavior like this. I'm almost at the door when she catches up to me.
Isabella, wait!
The apprehension must have been quite obvious on my face, because her expression instantly shifts to something gentler, eyes softer, a fond smile spreading on her lips.
Hey, I'm not angry.
I know. I'm sorry I ruined this for you.
Come on, you didn't ruin anything. It's not like we haven't ran into any problems before. If we don't get a deal today, we can always try on a different day. And look.
She hesitates, completely trailing off, before shifting her gaze down to her hands, a small gesture to stall. Her fingers are fiddling with a piece of folded paper. It's that stupid letter again. My hands stiffen when she gives it back, but I take it nevertheless. More as an automatic response than any desire to have it back. I'll throw it if I can. I'll throw it away if I can. But I have this nagging feeling that, one way or another, I'll find its way back to me regardless of what I do about it.
Rose, this is... You have to let them know about...
I know you want us to get this sale so badly. And we've made a lot of plans on how to go about this. I mean, who wouldn't? This is the first time I've been assigned to a property like this. I've sold plenty of houses before, but nothing like what we have here. It's a beautiful house. I'd love to get one of my own if I ever win the lottery. But I think... Look, here's the thing, Isabella. If we are going to do this, work on something, I don't know, this big, I need you in top shape. And the way you are now...
My mind stops.
What? Wait. No, I can still work. I just need to get myself together.
That's what you said earlier. I let it go because I thought, hey, it's your own body and you should know more than anyone how you feel. But after this, I really think you should take a break.
You're kicking me out?
No, I'm not. Look, all I'm asking is for you to take a seat somewhere I can see you, and let me handle this for now. You're clearly not yourself, and I honestly could use some time not worrying when you'll fall over or not. The day's not even over, and I'm already feeling the stress. Please, humor me just this once.
She clasps her hand together in front of her, eyes pleading for understanding. And I do understand. To some extent. That doesn't mean I feel any less awful. Whether at myself, at the unlucky turn the situation has taken, or for her, I don't really know.
I promise I'll give you a full report of what happens after. I'll even let you take the lead tomorrow.
Fine. Okay. I'll step aside for now.
You're upset.
A little, yeah, obviously.
If it's any consolation, I won't tell the boss about today. You know how he is.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't. I don't want a repeat of the lecture I got during my first assignment.
Yeah.
He called me a noob, and I don't even know what that means.
How do you not know what a noob means? How old is this game? At the memory, Birth burst into helpless giggles, earning us strange looks from the guests milling out about the door. Talking and laughing like this, it's easy to forget any mishaps that happened. Little things you learn to appreciate, I guess.
So, are we good?
I'm still not okay with it, but Rose has a point. It's better for me to step out of this one for now.
I won't be able to help you anyways if I keep getting distracted like this. Maybe I'll just take a walk outside or something while I wait for you to wrap things up.
Please, just stay put. I insist.
I'm not an invalid, Rose.
Dude!
You clearly have not seen how you looked earlier.
Oh!
It's not that bad.
Color hasn't even returned to your cheeks yet. Just stay here, all right? Don't even think of going anywhere.
Yeesh, they're harsh.
Let me finish what I'm doing here, and then I'll take you back to Luxembourg myself to have that minor bump checked.
Sorry.
At least wait for me to call someone who'll fetch you, okay?
She's gone before I can voice one word of complaint. Left with nothing else to do, I find myself drifting back to the foyer. But we do not continue here. I've been playing it for quite some long time already. I have a doctor's appointment in about an hour. So nothing serious, just my foot being in evil. But yeah, I have to go now. I will see you in the next episode. I really like this game already. It's only been about hour and a half so far, but it is so good. And if you want to see any more of this, come back in the future. And if you want to see anything else that I've been playing, you can look at it on the screen and you will see what else I've been playing. And remember, just because you're not the main character doesn't mean you're not important. Goodbye, everyone.